Welcome to another course on SWOT analysis, where we go over some questions you should ask to help generate discussion during any brainstorming activities and analysis you may do with your teams. Like feature benefit matrices, there are several ways to conduct a SWOT analysis. However, regardless of how you choose to structure your analysis, we need to start by asking a series of questions. Here in this course, you will see a subset of the questions you can use when performing your SWOT analysis. Keep in mind there are no right or wrong questions or right or wrong answers. There's no set numbers of questions to ask. As long as you're focused, honest, and introspective, you'll draw conclusions that will prove invaluable when the time comes to start making decisions for your business. The four elements we just reviewed are common to all SWOT analysis. Alignment to the four perspectives is how VNC strategy mapping aligns to different views. However, many companies further compartmentalize these SWOT elements into two distinct groups: internal and external. With internal factors, typically strengths and weaknesses, are considered internal factors, that they are a result of organizational decisions under the control of your company. A high churn rate, for example, would be categorized as a weakness, but improving a high churn rate is still within your control, making it an internal factor. With external factors, similarly, emerging competitors would be categorized as a threat in a SWOT analysis. But since there's very little you can do about it, this makes it an external factor. This is why you may have seen SWOT analysis refer to internal and external analysis. Think of strengths as areas you need to build on and enhance, and weaknesses as areas you need to resolve and reduce. All of these are controlled by your internal organization. Think of opportunities as areas to exploit and expand, and threats as areas to avoid and thwart. Some of this is controlled internally, but most of it is based on external factors. Subcategorizing your four primary elements into internal factors isn't necessarily critical to the success of your SWOT analysis, but it can be helpful in determining your next move or evaluating the degree of control you have over a given problem or opportunity. Let's explore typical questions you need to ask and get answered during your SWOT analysis of these internal and external factors. Let's first take a look at the element strengths. To determine what your strengths are as an organization, you could begin by asking some of the questions you see on this page. What do companies love about your company and products? What does your company do better than other companies in your industry? What are the most positive brand attributes? What's your unique selling proposition? What resources do you have at your disposal that your competitors may not have? The goal here is to understand what your organization does best, what unique knowledge you have, talent you possess, and resources at your disposal. Highlight the areas where the value isn't easily replicated by anyone, by anyone else, even in the whole industry. Emphasize the reasons customers give you their business and keep coming back. And then top this off with what you and your organization is most proud of. By answering these questions and any other ones you come up with the right emphasis and detail, you'll be in great shape to start with your SWOT analysis. We can use the same principle to determine your company's weaknesses. Some questions that you may ask are right here. What do your customers dislike about your company or products? What problems or complaints are often mentioned in negative reviews? What do your customers cancel or churn? Why do they cancel or churn? What would your company do better? What are your most negative brand attributes? What are the biggest obstacles or challenges in your current sales funnel? What resources do your competitors have that you may not? The focus here is really to identify what can be improved. Dig in deep here and establish internal forces cutting into your bottom line. Find out why you may have experienced customer churn and what drove them away. Make sure it's crystal clear on things that are holding you back from accomplishing the things you need to get accomplished. As you get into this analysis a bit, you may find that determining the strengths and weaknesses of your organization or your project is considerably easier, or it takes less time than figuring out the opportunities and threats facing your company. This may be the case because, as we said earlier, there are internal factors which, by and large, are under your company control. Getting into the external factors, on the other hand, may require more effort and rely upon more data, as they are often beyond immediate sphere of your influence. More specifically, identifying opportunities and threats may require you to conduct more in depth competitive intelligence research about what your competitors are up to, or the examination of wider economic or business trends that could have an impact on your company. That's not to say that opportunities and threats cannot be internal, however. You may discover opportunities and threats based solely on the strengths and weaknesses of your company. Let's take a closer look at questions you need to get answered for these external factors. Let's take a look at opportunities first. The questions, as you can see from this list, focuses on how your organization can convert strengths into opportunities and resolve your weaknesses. More specifically, think about how you can satisfy any unmet demands that have been vocalized by your target customers. So, some questions are right here. How can we improve our sales or customer? How can we improve our customer boarding, customer support processes? What kind of messaging resonates with our customers? How can we further engage our most vocal brand advocates? Are we allocating departmental resources effectively? Is there budget, tools, or other resources that we're not leveraging to full capacity? Which advertising channels exceeded our expectations and why? Simply do the research on any emerging technologies that you can use to your advantage and how you can apply your existing strengths in new and or innovative ways. When it comes to threats, the goal is to identify the obstacles your company faces. You can certainly begin by asking a series of questions like the ones on this page, and I'll quickly review. What are some of the external forces cutting into your bottom line? Are there any emerging technologies that undermine the perceived value of your business? In what ways might your weaknesses get exposed or exploited? Are there unmet demands in the market that you're unable to satisfy? Is your competitor uniquely positioned to weather a potential and or impending channel? So these questions are great. However, it's often quite easy to come up with a list of potential threats facing your business or project without really asking these questions beforehand, although it's a good idea to do so. This could include branded threats, such as emerging or established competitors, broader threats, such as changing regulatory environments and market volatility, or even internal threats such as high staff turnover that could threaten or derail current growth. So take a look at your situation, ask the questions, and come up with the answers and do great. Remember, these are just suggested and common questions you could use with the SWOT analysis. After working through your first few SWOTs, you will identify more questions and refine more along the way. As you learn more, you'll gain a stronger sense of where your business stands in the context of your market. Also, before we leave this section, remember when conducting a SWOT analysis, there's no right or wrong way to arrive at the bullets you type under each of the four categories. There are really no right or wrong questions to consider. As long as you're focused, honest, and introspective, you'll draw conclusions that will prove invaluable when the time comes to make decisions. And the VNC Designer platform makes it easier to go through this entire process.